Hey there kids, welcome back to another video. This one is for lesson 23. It's kind of weird all in here, but this is basically the same objective that we've been working on for many lessons now, and that is to divide big numbers, 3 and 4 digit dividends, that's inside the bracket, by 2-digit divisors, resulting in 2 and 3 digit quotients. I know it's blurry, it'll straighten out. Reasoning about the decomposition of successive remainders in each place value. What does that mean? It means we've got some big division going on. So we're going to try to break it down into understandable pieces. And remember, I've been talking to my students a lot about this. The struggle is good. It's good to struggle and to try it on your own. So if you are working on this lesson, you really shouldn't be copying it word for word, letter for letter, number for number. You should be trying to do it on your own and then watch the video just to check. So don't just say, hooray, she's giving us all the answers. Like if you really want to learn it, you try it on your own and then you just confirm or repair what you did on your own. Okay, so I want you to know how to do it, but you definitely should be struggling through. Struggle is okay in math as long as you fix it, find your errors, and then try not to do that same error again. So how do we do this in lesson 23? They're giving us pretty big numbers. We're still going to round the divisor first. That's one of those things that was back in the beginning of division. Round the divisor first. Why? Why? Because I want to be able to skip count by something other than 29. Honestly, I can't skip count by 29. Sorry, not impressive. Maybe somebody else can. Hooray for you. Pat yourself on the back. But most people just would rather skip count by 30. And in skipping by 30, you're really just counting by 3. And how far do we get? Well, that's when you have to reasonably think about how far I'm going into my number. Now with long division, the strategy is to start from the left and work your way to the right. So when I look at 29 and I see that that is just about 30, and I look at 6 and I say, okay, well, I can't divide 6 by 30, but I can divide 62. And if I had 30, I could get 2 30s into 62 without going over. Remember to play that game. Don't go over. So when you are rounding, it's simply to guess what is going to go into the quotient. So you round so that you can guess. Once you put your number up here, you multiply the actuals. 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1 over here. My students said, what is that little number floating over your 29 there? And I said, well, that's what we're carrying over. That's the tens place. Out of my 9 times 2 is 18. I would carry the 1 over, and so that's the 1 in the tens place, the 8 in the ones place. And then 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 was 5. That's 4 from a different number. So anyway, so these have all been calculated out for you. So what have I done? I've been breaking down, and in successive problems, we're breaking down this entire dividend into pieces. If this is 2 in the hundreds place, it's essentially 200 times 29. That's why we're still working out here in the thousands and the hundreds place, because really it's like 200 times 29 is 5,800. That's why I have these little quiet zeros there. Okay, so place value matters. And in this lesson, it's really important that you line everything up. Do you have to put the zeros here? No, that's why I don't have them. It's just kind of more lead and more time and more space, and you don't really have to have them as long as you keep everything lined up. And I have seen some pretty good teacher videos lately. Students will be using maybe graph paper to help you put numbers into the little boxes and keep your numbers lined up. That's a very helpful tool as well. So you still are using the division family steps: divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. But the numbers are getting a little bit bigger. I'm just going to jump ahead so we can get into the book. You've got 4 digits divided by 2. Bigger numbers, multiples of 6, and also a 0. Now watch out here. So if I have 66, first 2 digits, divided by 63, yes, I can put the 1 up in the quotient. Multiply 1 times 63 and get 63. Subtract, and you have 3 left over. Look at it. See the eyeballs? look at it. You have to look and think and make sure you're ready to go on. Now, if I bring down the 34, the 4 from the tens place, I only have 34. Now remember, according to my division family steps, at this point when I bring this number down, I should be dividing 34 by 63. Is that possible? No. That's why the 4 wears the 0 hat. Okay? So every digit in the dividend, once you start putting in your quotient numbers, there has to be a digit over every single digit inside. So if 34 is not divisible by 63, put the 0, bring down the 9, and make a new number that is divisible. So 349 is divisible by 63. Again, I wish I had 60 so I could skip count by 6s. And when you skip count by 6s, you want to get as close as you can to 34, or the first 2 digits. So that would make me think about 5, because 5 times 6 is 30. So remember, you just want to get close. So take that 5, do the actual multiplication. You get 315. Do your subtraction. Look at my comparison. 34 is less than 63. So I'm finished with that one. And we'll still be using the check. At this point, if you don't know your multiplication facts, you really should spend some time online. I was looking up last week, splashlearn.com. I thought had some pretty good practice on it. Grade 3 is where you should go to. It doesn't matter about the grade. You just need to have that practice. So let's get into the lesson. I know it's kind of a long intro, but it's really important that you guys know what you're doing. First thing you could do is section off these 6 problems here and give yourself some space so you don't get into the other space. Divide, then check using multiplication. Same strategy as before. Let's do the same setup as before. 48, 59. Be neat with your columns. Now, think about this. I've got 23. I wish I had 20, but I don't. But if I had 20, I would say 20, then 40. 2 20s make 40. And I'm looking at the 48 here. Remember, I'm going to be in the hundreds place. And if I have 2, then I can multiply, and hopefully I'll be less than 48. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Bravo. Hooray me. 8 minus 6 is 2. Now, when I have this 2 left over, it's really 2 in the hundreds place. So I'm going to bring down my 5, and if you need these, divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down, write it down. So I did my whole family all the way through, and now I have 25 divided by 23. I'm back up here. That's the division step. 1 time, because 1 times 23 is 23. Put it below the 25, or the 25 tens. Now I have 23 tens. Do subtraction. I have 2 tens left, but bring down the 9. So this comes all the way down. Now I have 29 divided by 23. So all these are pretty, they didn't even give you a sample problem. This is all pretty simple, pretty small, but we're going through the division family 3 times. 29 divided by 23 is 1. Multiply and get 23. Subtract and get 6. And we have a remainder of 6. Okay, so you put all that together. Write down your check. Do your multiplication with the outsides. 211 times 23. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Hold that spot with a 0 or move to the tens. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Add these up. 8, 4. And then don't forget, that's not what we started with. We have to add our remainder. And then we get 4859, which is what we started with. Okay? And that makes us very happy. Hooray! So, same approach for all these 6 problems. Let's jump right in. 52 is the divisor. 4,368. Okay, now this time 43 is not divisible by 52. So I'm going to go over here, and this is where I'm going to start my first answer. I wish I had 50 instead of 52 so I could skip count. by 5s. I want to get as close to the first 2 digits as possible. Remember, we're just trying to get to the 2 first digits because that's going to be under 100. So if you skip count by 5, you might say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And you notice that when you get to the 40, you have 8, a count of 8. Now remember, I actually have more than 50. So if I were to put an 8 here, I might end up with something a little bit bigger. But I do have a little bit more than 40. So this could be a good number for us. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 is 41. So in thinking about it, it's like, I did have a little bit of extra room, and it worked out. 6 minus 6, 3 minus 1, and you have 20 left over, or 20 tens. Okay, now you do a quick comparison, bring down your 8, you have 208, and now I'm dividing the 208 with my division family by 52. Wish I had 50, sure would be easy to get to the 20. But look, I could just say 5, 10, 15, 20, and use 4 counts to get to roughly the 20, or considering this other digit, that might work out perfectly. 2 times 4 is 8, and 4 times 5 is 20, and it sure did work out perfectly. So I don't have to have a remainder in these, and sometimes you won't. The check is going to be almost the same. You just take your 84 times 52, multiply. You can do those in any order, remember, 52 on top or 84 on top, either way. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16. Hold that with the 0 or leave it blank. 5 times 4 is 20, and then 40 plus 2 is 42. Add everything up, and you should end up with what you started with. Okay, hooray. Let's do another one. 34 on the outside, 7,242 on the inside. So here we have one in the hundreds place. We can start our quotient because 72 is bigger than 34. But how many times? So if I had 30 and I said 2 30s would be 60, I could try a 2 here. 4 times 2 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6, and I'm close, but I didn't go over. The difference between 68 and 72 is 4. Okay, the difference meaning the answer to my subtraction problem. So 4 is the difference. Quick compare, that's a lot less, so we're going to bring down the 4. 44 now divided by 34. I can fit 134 into this. Remember, it's really 440 and 340, but we're going to subtract, and we get 10 left over. Quick comparison. That 10 is less than 34. Now I finally bring down the 2 1s, so I'm really at 102 divided by 34. And so if I had 30 and I went 30, 60, 90, but then the fourth 30 would get me 120, that's too much. So I just want to leave it at the 3. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. And I end up with no remainder again. So to check, put the one with more digits on top and fewer digits on the bottom so that you don't have to have 3 partial product lines. 4 times 3, 12. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and then 8. Hold that with a 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Add these 2. 14, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 7. 72, 42, and that's what we started with. Let's do another one. 3, 1, 6, 4. Okay, divided by 45. 45 will not fit into 31, so I have to go over and use the 316, the whole thing. So my first quotient will go here. Now 45 is pretty close to 50, and counting by 50 is pretty easy because 2 50s make 100. So if I said 2 for 100, and then 4 for 200, and then 6 for 300, and I have a little bit less than that, I could try a 6 and see where that gets me. Okay, 6 times 5 is 30, but I have a lot less than that, so, and then 24, 27. And then if I was to subtract and see, what do I end up with? 46, which is too big. So you really want to be able to compare these and think. And since 6 is too small and I can fit a whole other set in, a whole other set of 45, then I'm going to bump it up to 7. Okay, so if you're not sure about these, you just write lightly so that you can erase and correct it. 7 times 5, 35, and then 28, 29, 30, 31. And that's a whole lot closer. We like that. Now, watch out here. 316 minus 315 leaves 1 left, which I will now bring down the 4 in the ones place. So what does that mean? I'm dividing 14 by 45. Really, that was just there from before. So 14 divided by 45, what is that? It's 0. 0 times 45 is 0, and that leaves you with 14. Can you have left it at 14 up here and you don't have to do that? Yes. I'm just showing you that 0 times 45 is 0, and you still have a remainder of 14. So R14, take this and do your check. Put the 70 on the bottom so that you don't have a lot of partial products. 0 times everything is 0. Now I'm in the tens place. 7 times 5 is 35. 28, 29, 30, 31. But I have a remainder that I need to add on. And I have 3164, or 3,164. I need a drink of water. Okay, a little bit. So anyway, I hope you guys are getting the hang of it. I know it's really tough, especially after being home, you know, in the COVID year. Stop that, focus. After being home for the COVID year, I think people didn't get to ask a lot of questions in class, and you really just need to ask questions and participate and be engaged to learn the most. Now, on this next one, I wish I had 30 because 30, 60, 90, that would be really easy. I could take 91 and divide it by 29 and fit 3 of those in there safely. 3 times 9 is 27, and then 6, 7, 8. Now the difference between 87 and 91, you can do the whole thing and it's 4, or you can do your standard algorithm and subtract. Sometimes I like to keep it neat. Other times I'll just want to talk you through it. 4 is the only thing left over, 4 hundredths. We're going to regroup that with these 5 tens. And I have almost 30 here, so I can only fit 1 into the 45. And so we're going to multiply 1 times 29 and get 29. And for this one, you can also find the difference between, or you can use the standard algorithm. Let's do this one with the standard algorithm. Take 1 and give 10. Then the difference between 15 and 9 is 6, and 3 minus 2 is 1. That one was a little bit of a bigger difference, so sometimes it's nice to have all the evidence right there. Now we've done our division family all the way through: divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. And we've done that all through almost twice. Now we're bringing down our last step, the 2 in the ones place. 162 divided by 29. Or thinking about 30. 3 would go into 16 5 times. So if I try the 5, because I'm pretty close, 5 times 9 is 45. And then 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4. Let's see what we get. You can take 1 and give 10 and have 12 minus 5. And then 5 minus 4 and end up with 17 left over. Now do your check. 315 times 29. Big multiplication here. 9 times 5, 45. And then 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4, 13. 27, 28. Hold this spot with a 0. Now multiply the 2. 2 tens. 2 times 5, 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. And that's all we have for our second partial product. Add, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, 7, 8, 9. And don't forget your remainder. You should be checking, and that doesn't match. So then we add the remainder. 7 plus 5 is 12. 3, 4, 5, 1, and 9. 9, 1, 52. And there it is. Okay? All right. Last one on the front. Then we have some fun word problems. 63 and then 4424 on the inside. So 63 will not fit into 44. So go right over here. I'm going to have a 2-digit quotient. Okay. If I had 60 instead, I would skip count by 6 until I get somewhere close to 44. Well, if 6 times 7 is 42, I'm pretty close with that. I can try a 7 here. 7 times 3 is 21, and then 42, 43, 44. Look at how close we got. Subtract, and the difference is 1. Bring down, and start your division again, but 14 is not a good dividend for 63. It says 0. And 0 times 63 is 0, which means we'll have 14 left over. Multiply 63 times 70 for your check. 0 ones times everything is 0. 7 times 3 is 21. 42 plus 2 is 44. Don't forget to add your remainder. 4, 2, 4, 4. So 4,424. Quick compare. And we're done with the front side. It's a monster. I know when I say, let's do big division, everybody goes, oh, gosh, let's not. Anyway, we're going to try to make you experts by the time these videos are over. All right, these word problems are great, fun, difficult, challenging, but we're going to use some tape diagrams. I think they will really help. Mr. Riley baked 1,692 chocolate cookies. Why he's baking so many, I will never know. He sold them in boxes of 36 cookies each. That's fantastic. So we're packing them in boxes of 36. Think about that. How much money did he collect if he sold them all? At $8 per box. Okay, so remember the read, draw, write strategy? This is great with tape diagrams. So we have a whole bunch of cookies. We have 1,000, always with tape diagrams. If you know the total, put it on the top. Total goes on the top. Okay, 1,692 cookies. Okay, in boxes of 36. So we start packing them, and it's 36 in a box, 1 box. 36 in a box, 2 boxes. Okay, we just don't know, ... how many boxes. Okay, that's the mystery. We know that it's 36 repeated. We just don't know how many. Okay, so if this is the number of boxes on the bottom, that's the mystery number. So how can we find that out? Tape diagrams show a part to whole relationship. Okay, so we're going to take the whole. Remember the WHOLE, 1,692. And we're going to divide it by what we do know, which is 36 cookies per box. And so, again,